I talk about this all the time with a lot of my leadership that I work with. Is like, you need to decide why people should work for you and not anyone else. Okay, but you know what happens though is most people will say like they're trying to sell all the current things about them that are like good, right? So they'll start to craft this formula of like, well, someone should work for me because I'm good at this. Someone should work for me because I'm good at planning. I'm good with spreadsheets. I'm good at projections. I'm good at motivating people, right? Mm-hmm. But that's actually not what I'm asking when I say you need to decide why people should work with you. What I'm saying is, forget who you really are. What are all the reasons for who you're going to become that people should work for you, right? You get to decide what those are. So don't base it off of who you currently are. Base it off of who you want to become. Right? Does that make sense? So like and maybe that it's a little, I'm not explaining it super well, but my point being is like, when you face who you really are, it's then a choice to become, you have to decide like, well, what beliefs do I want to have? Yeah. Right?
You kind of like reverse engineering the scenario.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
You say like, well, maybe I don't like the type of leader that I am with my guys that I work with, right? Maybe I don't like the type of leader that I am. Well, what type of leader do I want to be? Mm-hmm. Why do I want people in the future to work for me and nobody else? And for that to be always in their best interest, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not just about selling who you currently are to everyone else. It's about accepting who you really are and then deciding like, no, who do I want to change into? Who do I want to become that will make it so that I'm an influence for people?
Right.
And that's what made me think of that was once you, and this has been my experience with just starting training and doing jiu-jitsu is like, facing who I really am is tough. It's always hard. Right. But I do that so I can decide who I want to be. And this is what you said when when Sarah was training with me the other night. Is I was like, hey, so Rich, you need to like psychoanalyze Sarah, right? And so you go like train with her for a second, and then you basically were like, Sarah, you're this, and she's like, what? How did he guess like who I was, right? And then but you said something interesting. You said, so Sarah, now that you know this about yourself, the question is like, is that who you want to be? She's like, I can't answer that for you, right? So, and the same thing for myself. It's like, now that I know I don't like being uncomfortable, is that who I want to be? Mm-hmm. Now that I know if I know I'm going to lose, I don't try very hard. Is that who I want to be? Mm-hmm. Is that who I want to be for my kids? Is that who I want to be for my grandkids in the future? When I'm on my deathbed, do I want people to say that about me? If I had to give someone a truth serum, and they were a fly on the wall at my funeral, and they had to tell the truth about me, would they say, man, you know, Hayden, he was kind of cool on the surface, but the more I got to know him, I just realized he just like wasn't who I thought he was. You know, like no, I want to be someone different, but you have to face who you are.
Yeah. And then the next step in that jiu-jitsu also is like what we talked about last time was that once you figure out what you're doing and then why you're doing it, once we get into that why, we really start to look into like last time, okay, well, let's learn a little bit more about you and why would you have that belief or why would you do that? And then we figure out also what your why is. And what your why is also why you do what you do. Yeah. And we got to see, oh, well, this is why you love teaching. This is why you love helping people. This is why you love, what was your word? This is why I love to have people's back. Because I want somebody to have people. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, and then that's important also in life. I didn't get to say this last week, but the reason that's important is because now you remember why you started.
Dude, that's huge. Right? Yeah, because I think oftentimes the reason why people don't finish things in general is just because they don't remember why they started.
Exactly.
It's huge.
Exactly.
Yeah.